Hello and welcome to this Tales from the Hut Aviation Rarities episode about the Armstrong Whitworth AW29. The British Air Ministry Specification P27 was issued in April 1933 for the requirement for a modern two-seat single-engine monoplane light day bomber to replace the Hawker series of biplanes. And this aircraft would be capable of carrying a 1,000 pound bomb load over 1,000 miles at 200 miles per hour. Tenders were put forward by a selection of companies, and the aircraft included the Sidney Camm designed Hawker P27, the Westland P27, and Fairey's aircraft that would eventually be called the Battle, and Frank Barnham's Bristol Type 136. And of course the subject of this episode, the John Lloyd designed Armstrong Whitworth AW29. And finally Gloster's aircraft. This is an interesting but odd looking design. It did sensibly have more firepower to defend itself than the other aircraft that were put forward. A few of the aircraft like the Bristol and Gloster never got past the drawing stages, and the government in the end gave the go-ahead to build the prototypes of the AW29 and the strong contender from the start, the Fairey Battle. The A29's design was centred around the use of a supercharged 880 horsepower Armstrong Whitworth Tiger 8 radial engine, housed in a cone of very broad chord and driving a three-bladed de Havilland variable pitch propeller. The fuselage was constructed from steel tubes and covered with thick aluminium plates, and the thick section wing was mounted low wing to accommodate bomb bays for light bombs. The following loading options were 2 500 pound bombs, 4 250 pound bombs, 8 120 or 112 or 100 pound bombs, 4 reconnaissance flares, 8 20 pound training bombs, and torpedoes could also be carried with fittings under the belly. It had a box girder main spar, 23 inches deep and 35 inches wide at its maximum section. To the rear of the spar, fabric was used as the surface covering, and the same medium was employed to clad the tail unit. The thick tapered wings were joined at a relatively slim all-metal fuselage at the low mid-wing position. The wheels retracted hydraulically on lengthy trellis-looking struts rearwards into the wings, but they projected out slightly. The pilot's seat was in a good position above the leading edge, and his gunner, equipped with a single Lewis gun, was housed in a rotating Armstrong Whitworth turret after the trailing edge. Bomb aiming was also carried out by the gunner from a prone fuselage position. The aircraft was also designed for dual controls, but this option was never actually installed. The aircraft's crew consisted of 3, a pilot, an observer, radio operator, and a gunner. I'm pleased to say I've teamed up with an exciting new company called High Flyer Co. And I first met up with them a few months ago at an event, and I was very impressed by all their products. They offer high quality and really nicely designed aviation apparel, including t-shirts, jumpers and hoodies, coasters, keyrings and phone cases. And they also offer, for example, personalised or customised phone cases, Zippo lighters, metal or leather keyrings, wooden coasters and patches, all ideal to treat yourself or brilliant for gifts. My order arrived all nicely packaged with a couple of very nice looking leather iron-on patches. And the keyring was really impressive, the fine detail is amazing, and I've been carrying this in my pocket for over a month now, and it stood up really well against being scratched by all my keys. So please do have a look at their website and you will get a 10% discount off your first order if you use the code HUTTONHANGER10. The new monoplane bombers were intended, as mentioned before, to replace the Hawker series of multi-role biplanes, for which the Air Ministry had a certain affinity, and at the time 1933 to 1934, numerous Harts, Hinds and Audaxes had only just ended service, fully filling their design niche. Therefore there was no particular hurry for the Fairey and AW29. The Ministry was then relying on concepts left over from the First World War, in which light bombers were assigned the important role of carrying out bombing raids during daylight hours. While the A29 project was still in its final stages, Armstrong Whitworth offered the aircraft to the Royal Canadian Air Force. The Canadians were not interested, as they also had a sufficient number of Hawker biplanes in service. They could not see any need at the time for replacement aircraft. The company also proposed a monoplane variant of its AW29 bomber prototype in 1935 to meet a Canadian requirement. This proposal was not taken up. And as the new bomber prototypes were being prepared for flight, things were building and stirring up in Germany, and this was not going unnoticed. The approach now was on light bombing, which would focus on twin-engine aircraft like the Bristol Blenheim, as the range and payload of the light bombers were deemed insufficient. However, by 1936, the Luftwaffe had matched the RAF in the number of combat aircraft, and a year later it had pulled ahead. And to maintain the balance in numbers, it was decided to continue the comparative testing of the light bombers. The A.W.29 prototype, K4-299, maiden flight with squadron leader C.K. Turner Hughes at the controls, took place from Baginton on December 6, 1936. But soon after its first flight, K4-299 was damaged during a forced landing with retracted landing gear. The Fairey and A.W.29 prototypes were equivalent, and the future named Battle, however, was 30 miles per hour faster and carried 440 pounds more bombs. In 1936 the choice was made quickly, and the Fairey Battle won and was selected, and a contract was signed to build the first 155 bombers. Armstrong Whitworth, with a damaged prototype parked up, developed a modernisation programme for the A.W.29. They planned to improve the aircraft's speed, its bomb load and its aerodynamics. However, this was never fully accomplished. From 1937 onwards, the company found itself overwhelmed with other orders, leaving virtually no time or resources for improving the aircraft. Work continued on it and ticked over till 1940, when it became clear, given constantly changing specifications, further development of this light bomber would not be successful. So K4-299, the lone prototype, was never repaired and finally scrapped in August 1940. The A.W.9 I think looked okay, and I could not find any reports on how it handled, and the Fairey Battle was simply obsolete when it came into service, and it just about met its service requirements, but it was not up to speed and the performance of the opposition. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed that. Please like, share, subscribe, drop in a comment as always appreciated, and all this helps this channel tick along.